Hey everybody, this is Desmond here. So if you're watching this video, it's because you're part of our company, Chromabit Education's database. You either come to one of our events before or you have attended one of our seminars, workshops. Today I have a very, very special guest, and this person is amazing. I regard him as one of the highest, top level media buyer, paid advertiser in the world. And for those of you who are watching, if you do not know what media buyer means, basically these are the people that go out there and flood the internet with their banners and ads, and everywhere you see them. So this is something that I teach in my class as well. So first thing first, Fred, do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit?
All right. So first of all, thank you for actually having me here, Desmond. And I obviously have been an e-commerce entrepreneur for almost 13 years now. And I'll also obviously share my knowledge with a group of students who are absolutely crushing it in the world of e-commerce. So yes, I'm a media buyer, and I actually say that media buying is my skill, but I still need to actually have a vehicle to actually take my skill set to apply it to, which I apply them all really into the world of e-commerce. So in short, simply an e-commerce entrepreneur.
Okay, so Fred, I know you're from Vancouver. Just in case a lot of those people who don't you're in Vancouver right now, right? I just want to make sure.
I am in Vancouver.
Okay, so he's from Vancouver, and Vancouver has a ton of smart marketers, as we know. And Fred has done a lot. I've known Fred for a few years now, and he has done a lot in many, many different spaces of or segments of digital marketing, as well as making money online. He's done millions. How much are you spending a month right now on advertisement at the moment?
Well, it really varies on what kind of business, right? We at least spend at least 6 figures on ads. And whenever we do launch, we spend as high as like 7 figures to really push a product out into the market.
Okay, so I just wanted the audience to know that, Fred is not someone who spent $10 a day on Facebook and calls himself like a Facebook ad expert. This is a guy that really knows the game really well and is ahead of the times. And while a lot of people right now are still actually working on Facebook ads and tweaking Facebook ads, if you're from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, you should already know this, the fact that our ad cost in this particular city has actually doubled in the past 12 months, right? So a lot more people, a lot more marketers like myself have actually started looking towards other alternatives. We're talking like YouTube ads, and I know Fred is an expert at YouTube ads. Fred, do you want to like just go ahead and maybe talk a little bit about like what, as a newbie, someone who's brand new, maybe someone who's spending a few $1,000s a month on Facebook ads, but they see that their cost per lead or the cost per click is going up. They want to move to another platform because their margin is getting hit, because especially some of them are selling physical products or they have a retail store, right? So they want to move to, let's say, YouTube ads. Can you like just give simple tips? What are the first things they have to do?
Well, first of all, I wanted to actually make a clarification on one thing first. Yes, Facebook ads have been more expensive. There are basically the CPM is actually getting more expensive. That means that there are more advertisers and less ad spot for Facebook to actually serve. So it creates an auction and actually have that at play. However, though, yes, despite the fact that right now Facebook ads have been more expensive, but the conversion rate actually has gotten better. So a lot of times, yes, you can say that, oh, people are saying, oh, e-commerce is saturated, physical product is saturated, Facebook ads is actually getting more expensive. Yes, in a way, but you can actually use it as a leverage point. So I actually want to get that piece of information out there first, because there's too many misconceptions out there at the same time. There's a lot of things that as a digital marketer that you can do to actually get better results. For example, increasing your average order value, having better creative to get a higher click-through rate. But we're not actually having that topic right now. You're asking me, well, if I am already spending on Facebook ads, how can I really take what I've been doing to actually apply it to another traffic source? So you can actually use YouTube. Now, when it comes to YouTube, one of the key fundamentals is that it's got to be an enticing video. And as everyone knows right now, majority of the placement on Facebook is actually video placement. So people that runs a video ad obviously have a bigger have more reach than running an image ad and running a carousel ad. Not saying that they don't work, they still work, but it's just that more people are running a video ad. Now, when you go into Facebook and you actually got a video ad to really work, you can actually take that exact same video and go into YouTube and test the demographic and also test the topic of who will most likely actually respond to your ad that you have. Now, obviously, there are going to be some changes that you need to actually have in your Facebook video ad versus your YouTube ad, because first of all, there are two completely different segment of audience that you are reaching. And the other thing about YouTube is that you got to narrow down your demographic even further. So when it comes to YouTube, they're like, I have to say right now, I know that for a fact that they are working towards making their pixel more smart, but they're not there yet. Facebook is still ahead of the game when it comes to pixel. So when you start running a Facebook ad, Facebook will know, okay, the male at 25 to 34 is actually converting better, and they will allocate more budget towards those particular demographic. But when it comes to YouTube, it's actually not. YouTube is so big, you would actually have to do a lot of micromanaging when you're going into the market. So let's say that you want to sell, I don't know, let's say that you want to sell a fishing gear, okay? A fishing product in your store that you want to get out in the market. And when it comes to Facebook ads, it's working phenomenally well. When that happens, then yeah, you can bring it to YouTube and start with a very small budget and really go after the topic, because you don't have pixel data right out of the gate. And when it comes to YouTube, their topic is actually done up really, really, really well. So basically go into YouTube with a mindset of you're starting brand new. And yes, you already found a product that works. However, you still need to actually start fresh on YouTube. And you don't need to actually have a lot of money to actually spend on YouTube, $5, $10. And the scalability on YouTube is going to be far easier than Facebook, because people are like, well, when I raise my bid on Facebook, it resets the algorithm. It does all these things are working all of a sudden die. YouTube is different. If you're getting some great results right out of the bat and you're increasing your budget, then obviously at that point, your sales will obviously come at the same time. So it's more steady. But again, when YouTube, you got to really look at how to optimize it. One key thing, especially in the Google platform, not just YouTube, is optimization. You want to actually see where your ads are being shown and really eliminate placements that are not producing you results, that are getting you a lot of views, that are basically getting you a lot of clicks, but people are not buying. Then you want to basically start adding exclusions on YouTube. So in reality, when it comes to Google ads and YouTube, it's more like you going out fishing, right? There's two kinds of people. One is like you have a fishing rod and you aim for that one fish, hoping for that one fish to actually come. That's how Facebook is right now, right? They know which fish will most likely eat the worm or eat whatever that is on the hook. Now, when it comes to YouTube, you got to basically look at it from a different perspective. You're literally casting out a wide net. And from there, you are slowly taking out the trash, the things from the net to really just reaping the reward. So in a nutshell, you want to look at YouTube that way, and always start a topic first.
Those are really amazing tips, really great tips. I want to talk about exclusion a little bit, because a lot of people, when they are buying ads online, they don't like to exclude people. They don't like to exclude certain type of people that are not converting. Hence, they're paying over way too much. Even on Facebook, for those of you who are watching this, you should know that you can exclude through custom audience, some lookalike audiences, and you can do a lot with that. So that's a really, really good tip, especially when you talk about, advertising on YouTube. It's like putting out a net and excluding things are not converting well, which is fantastic. Which is great, because a lot of the people watching this, they are people who are getting started with advertising online. Maybe they're selling a product on the Shopify store. Maybe they're doing print on demand. Some of them are doing digital product launches in the mini scale. Some of them are doing webinars. So there's a lot of different kind of people are watching this, right? And would you suggest for them to allocate their budget 50-50 on YouTube and Facebook at this particular predicament at this time? Because we know there's a lot of changes coming in. We just hear the news today. They're changing relevance score again on Facebook, right? They're putting it into 3 mini categories. Would you suggest for someone who's brand new, maybe spending a few $1,000s a month, putting 50% of their budget on Facebook, 50 on YouTube, or how would you do it? How would you advise them to do it?
I would do 80-20. 80-20, especially if you're in the world of e-commerce and direct response. 80-20 is going to be a lot better, because you got to keep in mind, YouTube is not built for direct response.
Right.
Facebook is built for direct response, because when you tell Facebook, hey, Facebook, right now I'm advertising right now, and at the campaign level, you get to choose the objective, right? You get to choose the conversion objective on even more narrowing down into what specific objective you want. You want a sale of a specific product, you want a sale, or you want to get a webinar lead, or you want to get an opt-in. Now, one thing about the conversion though, which is very important, do not optimize your ads off of the standard event. Never do that. Especially if you're running an e-commerce store, or if you have like a brand that have multiple lead magnets or multiple webinars from different angles, you always want to actually go specific. So let's say that you're selling the fishing rod, for example. You want to create a custom conversion of the fishing rod so that Facebook optimizes just for your fishing rod. So now, again, I'm telling you these because Facebook is still built for direct response. Yes, CPM is more expensive, cost per click is going up, but conversion rate is also going to be, your ROAS and your conversion is actually going to be better. Now, 20% allocation goes to YouTube is because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And as a marketer, here's one challenge that we will face. We only have 24 hours in a day, and your working time, if you're a hustler and you work your ass off, you may work like 10 hours a day. But how are you going to effectively allocate your time and efforts and really get the maximum return is the most important thing. So you don't want, if you do 50-50, I mean, that's fine. It's up to you because we do 50-50, but it requires a lot more attention because now you're not focusing, you're not spending money on just one platform. You're spending on two. So right out of the gate, YouTube is more complex than Facebook. Now, again, YouTube is a big market. Once you actually are able to narrow YouTube down, the scalability is, I can say, it's pretty much indefinite. Like, you are not going to get exhaustion in traffic or audience saturation. But at the same time, if you're just spending a couple $1,000s a month, you want to really focus your time on where are you going to make the most bank. And you want to basically allocate 20% of your time to test different things, to research different things, to get data, where your 80% going on Facebook is actually producing you the result that you need that can fuel into your YouTube ads. Now, obviously, once your YouTube ads got locked down, once you got how it works, then obviously going 50-50 is going to be fine. So that's what I would do. And if I were to recommend any newbies or anyone that's starting or only have a couple $1,000s a month on advertising, 80-20 is, I think, is the most ideal number.
I think that's a really good tip because I believe that Facebook is very powerful when it comes to getting sales, getting leads, people that you want to buy your stuff. But I think YouTube at this moment is very powerful when it comes to lifting up your brand, using them as a retargeting method to retarget people who didn't buy the first time when they found out through Facebook, which is amazing. So that's really, really important. And talking about Facebook
ads, to echo on top of what you say, what we do a lot is that we do leverage a lot of our efforts of Facebook on YouTube too. And you had it bang on right there, which I missed. You can get cold traffic from Facebook a lot easier than YouTube. Now, what you want to use on YouTube, why the 20% budget really comes in place, is the retargeting. Like, once the person start to interact with your company or into your brand or into your products, and if wherever they go, they see you, especially even on YouTube ad, yes, you're right. It definitely increase your brand presence because not a lot of people are advertising on YouTube. And most importantly, you are able to actually then only advertise to those that are considered warm traffic and not cold traffic. So yeah, you got to bang on.
That is so powerful because I believe in 2019, especially with the rising ad costs, you no longer can run an ad where you're just trying to build a list, you're just trying to, pump traffic to a webinar. I think branding plays a very important role this year compared to last year. Like, the way people are going to choose whether to buy from you or buy from your store is how much trust is gained before they even click on the store. Like, for example, if I see if I see a book, like Fred is launching a book, if I see him advertising it on Facebook, I'm going to click on it because I know it's Fred. But if I don't know Fred personally and the ad just comes to me the first time, I'm going to be like, another book, really? Because there's just so many webinars. There's just so many stores. Like, for me, my Facebook timeline is flooded with e-commerce products that are similar that you can find on AliExpress. It's flooded with webinars upon webinars, and they're all selling the same thing, and the pitch is the same. The webinar landing page looks the same. Everything looks the same. So how do you differentiate yourself? Branding is what matters. And that's why I want to talk about branding a little bit, because I know you're very good at that. You're using social media to build a brand, because not a lot of people are doing this. A lot of people are building brand using typical PR method, going on newspaper, going on magazine, radio. But that's old school. Let's talk about new school, right? Let's talk about what you would do if you have to brand yourself again from scratch using social media.
Well, what I do?
Yeah.
YouTube and Instagram. There's no doubt about it. And what the terminology and where you're really going at with branding is, it actually started really, really massive as of, I would say, in the middle of 2018. The new terminology is called omnipresent, right? But if you actually look at this from an advertising standpoint back into the traditional world, if you guys, obviously, I never took a class in advertising, but it's just that through my experience, through my knowledge, I know, and a lot of studies show that an ad needs to be saw more than 7 times in order for a person to even take action. Now, we're so blessed with the digital age right now with advertising on Facebook, and we get direct response right away. But as you grow and as there are more noise in the markets, it's whoever has the most omnipresent or have the most eyeball to the potential customer or potential clients will win. So let's say that if you saw my ad on Facebook, you're like, who the fuck is this guy, right? I don't know who he is. Then all of a sudden, you start seeing this person on Instagram posting every day. You saw him on YouTube giving you content every single week. You subscribe to his email list and getting emails. You may have been in their messenger. They actually get chatbots and all this other stuff. When those actually all work together, then what will happen, it will create the trust and authority. It will be like, okay, this guy already have tons of content on the social media. I can't imagine what else he would have inside the course. Or basically, these people are running a physical products. They're like, well, they got to know their stuff in order for them to actually provide so much content. And here's one rule of thumb, and actually not rule of thumb. Here's a big myth, which now is actually turning into reality. And I thought that this was really just a theory back then, but now it's actually proven, especially for Facebook. So a lot of people, we all know CPM is rising. Everyone's like, how am I able to actually decrease my CPM? How am I able to actually get a lower cost of advertising on Facebook? It's not going to actually sustain my brand if it continues to grow. One thing that you need to know is that if you play within the Facebook ecosystem, and Facebook is actually called a newsfeed. Now, newsfeed means that people want to consume content on Facebook. Now, if your brand only solely focus on running ads and you are not providing the main core of Facebook or even Instagram, which is content, then you're going to get penalized. Facebook will be like, oh, you're just a typical advertiser. We're going to basically charge you what we normally charge people. However, if you start to produce content and have omnipresence and really being in market to give value first, Facebook actually rewards you that because people can see that they want it to actually, your users or people on Facebook actually want to consume your content, and it feeds the ecosystem of Facebook. Hence, it will reward you with actually a lower CPM. So again, you do need to have like all the social media presence that you need. You need to provide content out there, regardless of what niche you're in, regardless of what physical product you have. You can still talk about some stuff. Like if you are in the trending gadget, you can do like unboxing videos, which sells really well, right? If you're in, let's say, camping or outdoors, you can give away tips on how you can actually help that person have a better experience in the camping. And throughout time, it builds your brand, it builds your authority. And even if you sell the same product as XYZ store that is just right beside you, people would rather buy from you because they have been consuming so much content from you. So in short, yeah, focus on organic reach. Like this is very important right now, especially building your brand, building your persona, and building the store's name, et cetera, especially going into 2019.
Yeah, so this is really powerful because a lot of people, the mindset is, especially new business owners or new marketers online, their mindset is, I'm going to put an ad online, I'm going to pay Facebook $5,000 and Facebook is going to give me like 500 leads. But the game has changed so much today. Like you have to really push out content. If I own a dog training company, let's say if I want to, what I do is I sell dog training services. What I need to do is put out dog videos, maybe tips on how to care about dogs, tips for puppies, right? Put it out there and promote those videos really, really hard, right? And what you want to do is you want to retarget them with ads. That's how you would do it. Because too many people, what they're trying to do with their ads is, first thing they want to ask the people who are on Facebook browsing to do is to either opt in or buy something. That's like you going to a store, the moment you enter the door, someone just comes to you with a credit card machine or with a cashier and be like, hey, I want you to buy something. That's crazy, right? So you want to actually build an experience, what I call a social media experience for people as well who are on Facebook. Otherwise, your relevance score is going to dip, and more importantly, your cost is going to go up. So talking about cost, this is a very interesting topic because a lot of the people who are watching this, they probably have already started running some ads. Cost is going up. So let's talk about costing because I know you're a master at this. Like you're one of the best of the best in this particular field. So when it comes to cost control, for a normal business, I'm not talking about internet-based businesses. I'm talking about a normal business, maybe a restaurant, maybe a hair salon, maybe a massage or whatever it is, right? how would you do a cost control for in terms of, let's say, the cost per lead? What would you recommend them to do? For example, let's say they're often paying $15 per lead, and then now suddenly, for some reason, maybe it's Chinese New Year, maybe it's Valentine's Day, and it went up to $30 a lead. What would you recommend them to do besides the content stuff, which amazing, which will help? But what else would you tell them to do?
Creative upgrade.
Okay.
That's the one question. Like, that's the answer, like creative upgrade. If you're able, you have to understand this, regardless of what is happening with the CPM, whoever has the highest click-through rate will always win.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, if you constantly pump out new creatives from different angles, you basically have a competitive advantage. So let me give you a quick example, right? Let's say that, imagine this crystal apple is a real apple, okay? So when you go in markets selling an apple, there are so many angles that you can actually go after. You can basically say, this apple can help you lose weight. Now, obviously, this will get you in trouble on Facebook ad, but I'm just using a simple analogy. This apple can help you lose weight, or this apple gives you all the vitamins you need. Now, that's already two different angles. Another angle is like, this apple is actually GMO-free. It's totally organic, and that's another angle going after a different market. Selling a product can come up with several angles that you can go. Now, whichever one that actually produced the higher click-through rate will always win. So regardless if you're in a restaurant business, you're in a salon, or you in like spa or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you are able to actually find that message to your audience that basically reach the bigger masses, and it tells you through click-through rate. So you constantly need to challenge yourself on, okay, how can I increase my click-through rate? What is something that is people are very interested in? Because if you and I both own a salon, and we pay around the same price, so you and I are going to advertise to the same audience, and let's say that our CPM is going to be $30 each, but I'm able to take you out if my CTR is actually going to be 50% higher than you. I'm going to hijack all the traffic, so I will take you out. And I don't care if the CPM is going to be more expensive, because then my cost per click and my cost per lead is actually going to be far less than yours, and eventually you will give up. So you need to basically always look at, how are you, or how can I sell this product from a different angle that can produce me a higher click-through rate, which will result in the lower cost per click and to the lower cost per lead. Now, another thing that you need to keep in mind, now that's on Facebook side, right? That's on advertising side. And we cannot control CPM. That's really determined by the auction, determined by Facebook, determined by the number of advertisers. The other thing that any businesses can do is to increase the on-site conversion. So if you're obviously running an e-commerce store, you want to increase your average order value. The same other store can sell the same product as you, but if you are able to actually get a higher average order value, that will allow you to actually take out your competitors a lot easier. The other thing, for example, you're running a local business is, all right, how can I basically get this person to buy a bigger package of like a spa package, or basically come in and have a family dinner of 4? So you want to basically create things or create promotions that will get you the highest, obviously, conversion on your website and the highest average order value for every single customer. And that will obviously help you fight with the rising costs of advertising. So two things that you can do.
I like what you say about creative upgrade. In fact, a lot of people, what they're doing is that when they're running ad, and even if they're doing well with that ad, you still got to switch it up, because there's something called ad fatigue. People are going to get tired of your ad. But here's the thing, a lot of people, especially here in this part of the world, they always ask me, hey, Desmond, you say it's easy, thinking about new creative, making videos, you're natural. But how would someone like us, where we have not much ideas for ads, what should we do? What can we do right now to get more creative inputs into our brain so that we can come up with more creative outputs for our ads? Like, what do you do, Fred, with your team, with yourself? If you run out of ideas, or you just go through one of those days where you just like completely have no idea what you want to do for your ad, what would you do to get brand new ideas?
Well, here's the reality though. You can actually use the same hook and angle, but just word it differently. That already makes a significant difference. With videos, you don't have to be on camera all the time. You could basically use what we call thumb stopping ad and turn images into videos. That obviously changes things up. As long as you are changing things up, and it's not the same thing. You can sell the same thing, same angle, but how you word it is the most important thing. Now, another thing to really keep in perspective is, let's say that if you're like, well, I completely am out of ideas of what is working, or for example, what angle I should go after. One thing that we do a lot is that we look at our customers' review, or we even look at our Facebook ad comments, because you will actually see some of your customers actually commenting and giving you ideas that you never had thought of. So for our e-commerce business, like, we look at our comments and our reviews a lot. And when we found that someone or a group of people keeps repeating that same thing over and over and over again, we turn that into an ad right away. And that already give us another creative updates.
Wow.
So you don't, listen to your customers. You don't have to always be the person that comes up with the idea. You can ask your customers, survey them, maybe ask them why they bought the product, and that will actually give you a lot of information. So never assume, right? Like, talk to your customer. They're the best people, or look at what they say, and they're the best place for you to actually update your creative and find different hooks and angles.
I always say, Fred, your customers are your best salespeople, because what you need to do is, if you're selling them, let's say, a haircut, once they're done with the haircut, all you need to do is just take out your camera and say, hey, can you like say something to help me sell my business, right? Help me get more people to come into my business. And they're going to talk about how amazing you are. You post that up on Facebook. That's a new creative right there, right then, right? So creative is amazing. That I learned a lot just from listening to you in regards to that. So this is very, very high level stuff. Let's talk about basic stuff, like people who are just getting started, like people who are thinking about starting an online business, but there's so many distractions. We're talking about, there's this guy here who's teaching about agency business. There's this guy here teaching about, just doing social media ads for someone else. And then there's this guy teaching about e-commerce, and then Amazon FBA. There's just so many options. Now they're getting confused because there's just so many shiny objects, right? So for someone who's brand new, not a lot of money, maybe they have they want to put in $500 into this online business they're starting out. What would you recommend them to do?
I would say, with a shadow, does e-commerce, because you get to control. You don't really need a significant amount of money up front, and you can learn as you go. So I'm not bashing other courses. Like, all the other, like, FBA works really well, agency worked really well, social media agency works really well too. But if you were to ask me, I would say e-commerce, only because you are not going to need to report to anyone, right? Social media and agency is great. You're going to be making a flat monthly recurring income from your client, but then you got to deliver results to them. And if they don't deliver results to them, you got to deal with human beings, and that obviously is going to be a catastrophe. Amazon FBA is great. There's a lot of people that makes a lot of money at Amazon FBA, but the risk is a little bit high, because you got to buy an inventory. You got to hope that when you have the inventory and it goes into FBA, it will work. $500 will not give you a lot of inventory, just to give you a heads up. And that doesn't include cost of advertising as well. So when it comes to, like, you have a limited budget and you really want to get started and actually gain momentum, I would say e-commerce is the easiest, because e-commerce can actually get you your first sale so much quicker than any other business model. And when you got that first sale, you will start to believe in yourself, and you will have a shift in your mind. Every single business model that has been taught out there works. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. But the tipping point for a newbie is basically staying focused on one business model and seeing the first sale, because that will prove the concept, and that will prove that you are capable and you can do it. And when you actually have that, then you will actually start gaining momentum and simply just continue to grow and go from there. So again, you can choose e-commerce, FBA, digital publishing, affiliate marketing, agency. It doesn't matter what you choose. But what I challenge you to do is that if you decide to go whatever business model you wanted to go after, stick with it. Mm-hmm. Don't shift halfway, because then you're going to waste a lot of time, and you're going to basically not really produce the result that you wanted. And getting you that first sale is going to be prolonged, and that will obviously affect you and destroy you, because all you're seeing is like, oh, none of these business model work. This is a scam. And that's why, like, you guys set up yourself for failing, because you're trying to do this, that at the same time. So again, focus at one at a time. And if you ask my recommendation, obviously it's e-commerce.
Okay, that's amazing, because I know a lot of people are doing very well in e-commerce. And not only that, e-commerce is a type of business where you can genuinely exit out of your business. Basically, you can sell your entire store away if you want. Like, touch wood, something happened to you, something happened to your family, you needed that big cash, you can literally put it up on a website and sell it away. And sometimes people pay you 5 figures. I met someone at Funnel Hacking Live. One person was telling me that he sold his store for 200K, and then he's on a 1-year whole vacation, and he's going to come back to business next year, which is insane. So this is what we're talking about, real legit business, but do it in a way that, Fred was just mentioning about building up confidence, getting your first sale. There's so many people, they dream too big, which is nothing wrong, but you can set yourself towards failure if you do not know what you're doing. Because that first sale, even if you only make $1 for that first sale, that's going to push you and give you that belief and really believe in that. And let's talk more about that, because I know you write a book about how to start an e-commerce store, and you have a strategy, like you're one of the best of the best. So let's talk about the book and also talk about what you're going to cover in the book. And more importantly, I want you to reveal the price for the book at the end, because
there you are. You're back.
I think we're disconnected. Okay, it's still recording, so that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that again. Okay, so Fred, you have a brand new book that you're coming out with, and this is a book called Starting from Zero, right? I'm assuming this is a fantastic book for people who are just getting started, wanting to know exactly how they can, get that first sale, get a second sale, maybe that 1,000 sale. And you're doing it through the e-commerce method, which is a method that has been scrutinized a lot recently because of how popular it is, right? But there's a reason why, because it works, right? If there's a lot of people talking about it, that means it works. But let's talk about this for real, because I want you to cover what's in the book, why they should get the book, and more importantly, at the end, talk about the investment they need to get the book, because it's mind-blowing.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. So first of all, this book is actually called Starting from Zero, and the title says it for itself, right? I want this book to actually get in hands of individuals who really wanted to have no experience, no tech experience, and literally start from zero. So that's why it's called Starting from Zero. Now, this book is actually the second edition. I had the first edition out. It was never published. It was really given out as an ebook. But we are officially going to the publication of this book, and we're going to be selling this physical copy of this book very, very soon. But before we do that, we're obviously going to be doing some crazy stuff with this book. Now, in this book, I basically journeyed back 13 years on my e-commerce entrepreneurship, on how I got into e-commerce and what are the things that really helped me become who I am today. And most importantly, this book actually helped a lot of my students in just over 2 years have generated over $31 million in sales. And it's all because of this book. So the refined version of this book is basically, now that all the students have gone through it, I basically look at what is it that I can share more that can allow them to have a system, a blueprint, and strategy and practical steps that they can actually start building a business starting from zero. So in this book, I talk about the 5-step system, and the 5 steps is super critical when you're building an e-commerce store. And a lot of people simply just stop at step number 3, which obviously they just build a store, find products, and sell. But in reality, that is not a sustainable business. You need to actually have the profit multiplier in place, and you need to learn how to scale up and rinse and repeat, which is the most critical part. Now, my first business collapsed in 2008, and it was actually doing $4.6 million in 4 months. But it collapsed only because we only had the 3 steps. We didn't even go through the entire 5-step. And from obviously my failures and what happened back then, I documented to really see how I got back out of it and what I've learned through that failure to really develop my 5-step system that really allow people, individuals like you who don't have any knowledge, to actually get started. So in this book, we talk about step-by-step on building your store, finding products. We even show exactly how you should set up your Facebook ad, step-by-step, and why we click on certain things so that you're educated as a media buyer. You don't want to just be told what to do. You need to learn why it's done that way so that when any modification happens in any advertising platform, you will know and you have that knowledge to do so. Then we share things like how you can increase your average order value, how you actually multiply your business by diversification, how you set up your targeting ads. So it's literally like a Bible, a complete guide on walking people through on how to build a business. Now, the best part of this, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are in the Asian culture. You guys would have heard of his name. The foreword of this book is actually written by Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. He heard of my story. He read the book, and he absolutely loved it. And I obviously asked if he can write the foreword for the book, and he, with a shadow of doubt, said yes right away. And I was really floored. and really excited about it. So this book is not just a typical book. Like, it just gives you the psychology, it gives you the blueprint, it gives you everything that you need to get started, and it will show you how you can even have an e-commerce business up for less than $100 and giving you all the steps that you need to actually have that accomplished. So I'm very excited to finally publish this book. And again, when we publish this book, it will be sold for a significant amount of money, just like any regular book. But for a very limited time, we're actually going to be giving away the audio version and the digital version of this book for $1.99. Like, I want to get as many people hand onto this book as possible, the audio version and the digital copy, so that it can get anyone. There's no more excuses for like, oh, I got to spend $20 on a book. Like, no, you're spending $1.99 and you got the entire blueprint system for you to actually start building an e-commerce business. I just had a student of mine that basically said to me that she went from $0 to $700,000 in 3 months, all because she started with the book. And this is the potential and the opportunity that's in front of you. Now, you might be thinking, well, Fred, e-commerce is saturated. A lot of people are doing this. There's no money to be made. And the truth is, it's not. Because if you actually look at the statistics right now, e-commerce by 2021, it is projected to double in transaction. So that means that the market is going to double in size in literally just 2 years' time. So if you are basically believing that the market is saturated, then guess what? You're going to just miss the trend. You're going to miss the opportunity that is right in front of you. And a lot of people...
I want to add about that, Fred, because I want to add that because you mentioned a really amazing point that there's a big news recently that's just been released. Elon Musk is closing down all his Tesla stores. And if you want to buy a Tesla car, you have to buy online right now. And e-commerce is only bound to grow further and further and further and further because like people like you and me, we are just so used to buying products online. I'm so used to getting Amazon Prime. Like I don't even know what it's like to walk into a Walmart or walk into a, Target. I can't even remember. I can't even remember going to a Target, browsing for like 30 minutes and then walking out into the cash. I don't even remember what that felt like. People are buying stuff online and it's inevitable, right? Sorry to cut you off there. Continue.
No worries. Yeah, and on top of that, to voice that a little bit, you got to keep in mind one thing. There are new products that are being made every single day, right? So yeah, you're not gonna see the same kitchen gadget, fishing product, camping product, homeware product as of like 3 months from now. Like 3 months after, you're gonna see completely different market because a lot of these manufacturers, a lot of these products, they continue to innovate, right? And you just continue to sell. It's kind of like BMW. Okay, easy example. BMW always have to come up with new models. Why? It's still a car, but the thing is that people are still going to continue to buy. People continue to buy. And the more people buy, the more people spend online, the bigger opportunity there are. So there's no such thing as saturation, in all honesty. Like there can be 100, 200. Let's take this for example. If you think that e-commerce or selling physical product is saturated, then I can tell you, every single Walmart, Target, CVS, and Walgreens are going to basically be out of business now. They're selling the same thing. Is it saturated? No, there's still a mom and pop shop down the road that is selling the same amenities as anything else. It's just a mindset thing that you got to get out of. It doesn't matter what is happening in the market. It doesn't matter who is selling the product. All it matters is basically the data that you are receiving for your store and through your ads if you are able to actually make a profit or not. And again, inside this book, I shared a lot about psychology and data that you need to read, which a lot of people are too emotionally attached to their product and to their store. And they never listen to the data. And that's why a lot of people, when they go in market, they're like, I tried e-commerce, it didn't work. Yeah, you try e-commerce, it didn't work because you may not be selling the right product. You don't know who your customers are. You're not using the data to help you optimize your business to tell you what you need to do. But again, I explained that all inside this book so that it gives you that mindset and know that you're running a legit business. You need to actually get these data to understand what is going on. And like I said, there can be like millions of online stores out there, but the ones that really strive are the ones that basically know how to optimize, how to use data and understand the psychology of your customers. And that's where you started to actually shine.
So I just want to wrap it up and let you all know that this audiobook and the PDF, it's only $2. You can't even buy, I don't even know what you can buy with $2 today. Maybe a lollipop, maybe more than that. I don't even know, like for $2. And you're getting a lot of information. You're talking about strategies. And Fred has put it step by step so that you know exactly how you can start a store, how to get your first sale. And he's going to teach you how to use Facebook to drive the targeted people to go to your store and spend money on your store. Now, listen, the long term here is that you're going to make some good money because you're going to make some profits from your store. And that's great. But as I always say, you want to have a business with an exit plan. Now, a lot of you guys who are following me, you know I'm very against affiliate marketing for a lot of newbies. The reason is because there's no exit plan for affiliate marketing. You can't just sell your list like that, especially in a world right now where privacy is such a big deal, right? But this is a business model where you can build a list of people or customers that you can keep reselling again. You can be actually opening stores that are very similar. You have a lot of exit plans, a lot of strategies they can combine. Listen, this is insane. I think this is an amazing deal. I myself wouldn't sell it for $199. I was asking Fred earlier, I think a few days ago. I'm like, dude, why so cheap, man? What's going on? Like he's just like, you know what? I want to give more value. I want to be able to reach out to people that can't even afford $10, but $2 will be nothing. Because in my world right now, Fred, you have to understand, even in Malaysia right now, a lot of people think that $2 is big. You can't even buy a meal for $2, right? So listen, do intermittent fasting, skip breakfast. Now you have got that $2. If you have no money, no more excuses, go and get this book. I'm going to leave a link either below this video or on this video, on top of this video, somewhere around this video. If you don't have the money, email in. I will buy the damn book for you because I want you to learn. I want you to succeed, right? Because this is really, really a good deal. And you know that you're learning from someone with the experience, not just like talking with a bunch of theories and ideas. He actually know what's going on. He actually know how to create a store that actually is profitable. So Fred, I want to thank you for the interview today. Thank you for sharing a lot of your golden tips, golden nuggets. I love it. And I think a lot of people are going to love it too. And good luck with the book.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for watching that video. If you like more videos like this, watch some of our previous videos here and make sure you subscribe and turn on notification to our channel because I don't want you to miss out any of our upcoming videos. They're going to be better and better and better. See you in the next video.